Hello, my name is Chip Walden, and today we're going to talk about the sixth seal rapture. Many people always wonder where's the rapture in the book of Revelation, and I've researched a lot, and it's a lot of people either don't believe it or don't know where it's at. So we're just going to go in and get into the Word. Revelation 6:12 is where all the action begins. Before Revelation 6:12, there's the letters to the churches and also the description of the four horsemen apocalypse coming up. Those are the seals 1 through 4. And now we're going to go 5 is vision that is seen in heaven, and Revelation 6 speaks of the sixth seal. And in the sixth seal there are 6 signs. And I don't know if that's by accident, but I don't think there's any accidents in the Bible. Revelation 6:12 says, I looked when he opened the sixth seal, and behold, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became like blood, and the stars of heaven fell to the earth as a fig tree drops its late figs when it is shaken by the mighty wind. Then the sky receded as a scroll, and every mountain and every island has moved out of its place. So here we have a great cosmic and an earthly physical disturbance. The first big sign here is a great earthquake. Where is this great earthquake? Is it just one little city, or is it a whole hemisphere? I believe it's going to be worldwide. It's going to be really big. And then the second sign is the sun became black. Several scientific possibilities there is one, of course, is the eclipse from the moon covering the sun. The second thing is an eclipse from something that's not the moon, an eclipse from another comet or large massive body like a planet X, something to block out the sun. A third possibility is a CME, those sunspots in the sun's surface, which could cover. I've seen it as large as a third of the sun. It can cover. The possibility exists to cover the whole hemisphere of the sun, to block out the whole sun. So, doesn't necessarily mean it has to be an eclipse from the moon. The next eclipse from the moon will be, I believe, in March of 2015. That's something we need to look out for, because that is a set date. If the sun became black and it's referring to that March of 2015, then we could probably base the entire Revelation 6 out of that March date. Ironically, a couple weeks later is one of the blood moons of 2014, which stretches to 2015 on Passover 2015. So about 2 weeks after the solar eclipse, the moon will be like blood. And that leaves a whole another important question. Looking at Revelation 6:12, does that all happen in one day, one earth day, or 2 earth days? Because there's 6 signs here, and they're all big things. Or is it through time? It occurs through time. For example, the sun became black. Let's say it is the eclipse of March 2015, and the moon became like blood. Let's say that does happen 2 weeks after. The stars of heaven fell. Let's say that happens a month after. Then you have a polar shift where we lose our magnetic field, so the sky receded as a scroll. Let's say that happens 3 months after. And then the greatest earthquake, where every tectonic plate moves. And so if it happens in that way, it's easier for people not to run to God. Oh yeah, but they're not connected. That's what they would say. But it's something to think about. Does this all happen within a short period of time, like a 24 or 48 hour, or maybe a 2 week, all 6 signs happen within 2 weeks? Or is it something that happens, say, between a year? Good question. Something to think about, and keep our eyes on the possibility of that. So that's why we shouldn't set dates until we really know. Now, Revelation 6:15 goes into the political and earthly aspect now. We just went through a physical earth cosmic description of what's going on with the 6 signs there. Now God has taken us to the political earthly scene, and it starts straight to where all of our problems are. And the kings of the earth, the great men, the rich men, the commanders, the mighty men, every slave and every free man, hid themselves in the caves and in the rocks of the mountains. Do you know that under the Denver airport is an underground city? That we've made thousands of miles of tunnels between Denver and Washington, D.C. To protect our politicians and the bankers and all these rich, important, elite people, of which I am not a part of. Thank you, Lord. So there you have the rocks and the mountains, and it's just not United States only. These underground cities are being built all over Russia. Okay, Putin has wanted, I think, 5,000 locations so he could save his people during a crisis. China is building them as well. So they're all over the earth. Israel as well. They're all over the earth. So the elite of the world could go and hide in the rocks against these cosmic disturbances. But here we go. We just had a great cosmic disturbances. And what does the kings of the earth do? They go hide in their caves and their mountains. And they say the most peculiar thing. It says here, fall on us and hide us from the face of him who sits on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. Why would they say that? They just went through tectonic plates moving all over the world. They saw the stars of heaven fall. A lot of strange things just happen, and they say something about Jesus. Hide us from his face. Why do they want to say hide from the face? Because they see his face. Where do they see his face? Where did Jesus say he's going to show? He's going to show up in the clouds for his bride. Do you see? So now you have the cosmic disturbances. Then you have the kings of the earth hiding their face from Christ. Christ is in the clouds right now, according to that. So now they're hiding their faces. Okay? What happens next? And we go to a new chapter now. It goes to Revelation 7. So it's almost like a movie. Cosmic disturbances. And then it goes to the the generals, and they're all hiding in their cities, underground cities, and then they see Jesus in the clouds. And I always call this the 144,000 commercial, because in Revelation 7 starts, and God is telling the 4 angels, which appear to be the 4 horsemen, to not to harm anything until he puts the seal on the foreheads of 144,000 people of the 12 tribes. So God does that. Now, why does God do that? Why does God put his seal on them so they could go through the earth without any harm during this time? It's simply because he was in the clouds. Why did Jesus be in the clouds? So he could take his bride. Rapture. He's taken his bride. Okay? His bride is now in heaven. The 144,000 has the seal of God to continue to do what the bride was doing. And many Christians will be offended by this, but it's not your faith that makes you the bride. And it's not your works either. It's the combination of the two. Your works have to back up your faith. But many Christians in America, their faith has no attachment to works, or their works is so pitiful that it's not even worth it. There's no sacrifice on that faith. So God seals the 144,000 to do the work of the bride. How do I know this? Well, continue reading. The Bible tells you. Revelation 7 verse 9. After these things, after what? After the cosmic disturbances, after the kings of the earth, after the 144,000, in that order, what happens? I looked, and I behold a great multitude which no one could number, of all nations, tribes, and peoples, and tongues, standing before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes, with palm branches in their hands. So John suddenly sees in heaven, boom, there's a great multitude of people he can't even number. They're of every race. There's of every tribe, of every dialect, standing before the throne of the Lamb. And they're singing him a song. Isn't that crazy? So he asked the angel that was with him. John's like, who are these people that just popped up? And the angel says, these are the ones who came out of the great tribulation. Now don't get bent out of shape on that. Why does the angel say that? Maybe because our understanding, our labeling of what the great tribulation is not what the Bible is stating. According to this, because it's in chronological order, because John keeps saying, after these things I saw, after these things I saw, after these things I saw. Now, we haven't even opened the trumpets yet, blown the trumpets yet. All we've got through is the seals. And according to the Bible, these are the ones who came out of the great tribulation, the bride. Why? Because they had robes on. They washed their robes and made them white. Doesn't mean they died. Doesn't say anywhere that they died or were beheaded or anything. Because all that hasn't started yet. And washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. They didn't deny the mark of the beast. Why? Because it hasn't happened yet. This is the rapture. And these are those that are the bride of Christ that God is going to take. And if you don't understand that, check out our wedding video, the Jewish wedding video. And you will understand why God is in the clouds and why he took his bride. So it goes, therefore they before the throne of God and serve him day and night. Why do they serve him? Because that's the wife. God's in the temple. The bride's in the temple. The wife is in the temple. We'll always be with him. God will always take care of us. It's a beautiful story. And there you go. That's the rapture. That's the rapture. Now the book of Revelation has a lot of more interesting things. Those are going to be studies for another time. But for today, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you understand it. Leave a comment. Subscribe to the channel. Like it. Promote it. If this has been a blessing to you, bless others with it. God bless you. Thank you.